everyone, and welcome into the kitchen. Now, it's always good to have some beautiful dinner party inspiration or even a sexy weeknight meal up your sleeve. And in the kitchen with me today is the wonderful and very beautiful Helen. Welcome, Helen.
Hello, lovely to see you.
Excellent. I got us these so that we can drink on the job.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, so cheers.
Cheers,
and
cheers
thanks
to
so
you.
much. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. So nice and refreshing.
Delicious.
You see, now we've already started off the right way. When we are cooking, we need to be happy. A lot of my students and a lot of my friends say, Mel, how come are you so happy all the time? And I say to them, because I know how to cheat and lie my way through a dish. So it doesn't have to be difficult, but it can be easy and it can be sexy. Beautiful. So what we're wanting is a round of applause when we put the food down in front of the friends and family.
Love it.
Now, you're quite an accomplished chef and entertainer, are you not? I've been to your place before. So what I'm going to show you today is just a little bit of, like I said, dinner party inspiration or just a weeknight meal.
Sure.
Okay. Now, chicken breast is a beautiful protein. We can get it at the supermarket. It's cheap and easy to get.
Love it.
All right. But cheap and easy, my two favorite things, don't have to look or sound cheap and easy. So how does a chicken involtini sound to you?
Sounds exotic.
Expensive?
It does.
Okay, great. Let's get started. Now, I've already got one in the oven because,
Sure.
you know, like in the movies, they say, here's one I made earlier.
Yes, love that.
But what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm going to teach you how to be happy in the kitchen. So when we are chopping, when we're about to chop, you can see I've got these cloths. They're already wet down. And
why have you done that?
this is so that we look more professional when we chop. So if we chop on a board that is mobile, this is when you get cranky. All right, this is when you say those terrible things about your friends and family. Why do they have to eat every day? That kind of thing. So having a board, cloth under the board, look how nice and sturdy it is. So
it's not going anywhere.
It's not, definitely not going anywhere. Now, I've got some beautiful fresh chicken
What have
breasts.
you hidden under there?
Well, I don't use plastic anymore. Okay. So this is a little cloth cover, and it goes into the laundry with the dish towels, and it's a little cotton cover. So I'm glad you noticed that because I think it's very cute.
I was going to ask you how you bacteria manage. So washing machine.
Yes, washing machine. So also, if you arrive to a party with a plate of foodie, you know, eats. With one of those sexy covers on, it would be much more expensive looking than if you had just plastic on there. Now, so what we're going to do is we are going to get one of these big knives. Now, that's just a chicken breast, and I've got one of these meat mallets. So if you're ever in a bad mood, this could be really pleasing. Now, of course, involtini, we can do it with eggplant. You can do it with veal. So whatever you have. So if you want more meat-free Mondays or something like that, you can, of course, do it with eggplant, which needs to be cooked.
Sure.
Okay?
Pre-cooked.
So, yeah. So what
and
I'm
not
going to
pounded.
do... No, we wouldn't need to with that because we'd just have a thin one.
Yes.
You could if you wanted to, though. Now, this is a very large, thick chicken breast.
Sure.
And what I'm going to do is with my sharp knife. Now, can you see the happiness? I'm not stressing, not even internally, okay? With a board that's not moving and a sharp knife, look how professional we look, okay? So get your knives sharpened. What we're going to do is open that up. Now, you could do two smaller ones here because it depends on how big your portion size is and how much, you know, the people in your family eat. But what we're going to do is if you just bash that down and try not to get your fingers. I want quite thin because if it's thin, it's going to cook quicker.
This is fun.
Yes.
I like this.
I told you we'd have some fun
Who
today.
am I visualising? Is it supposed to go all mushy like that?
Don't be too
Don't
violent.
over-mush.
Now, you're a yoga instructor, so you're very strong, aren't you? All right, so back down a little bit. Back down a little bit, all right? And one of the most important things here is going to be the sauce and the seasoning. Now, this is a one-pot or a one-pan dish, and we're actually going to bake this. So literally, once this work is done, you could have this in the fridge, ready to go for a dinner party either tonight or tomorrow, or if you're just a busy girl and you just want to get dinner ready, this can be done in advance or just as we need it.
Lovely.
Now that is perfect. That's the best one I've ever seen.
Oh,
now what we're going to do...
Stroke my ego.
There we go. Now what we're going to do is seasoning is so important. I often find that people don't season their food and it's a missed opportunity. So here we have some normal sea salt.
Oh, look at that.
I've got a little tea strainer. All right, just wash this out before your next Earl Grey. Okay. Salted Earl Grey. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of salt snow. Now you can see there that we're getting a very delicate and small amount of salt. So you don't have to over season. So if you salt snow that guy and then flip these over, we're going to do the other side. Okay. Now I'm going to catch up with you. And now the fillings, what we put into your involtini, that can be totally up to you. So we could do a nice traditional ricotta with nutmeg and wilted spinach.
Yum.
But today we're going to do like a caprese salad where we're going to have the basil, we've got bocconcini or mozzarella, and we're actually going to go for some peppered pecorino as well. So we're going to go heavy on the cheese. Now, like I said, sorry about that. That really just gets these guys ready as a canvas for the flavour.
Okay.
All
Now,
right.
I'm noticing you didn't use the spiky side. You used spiky or flat side?
It depends on what you need. If you really need to get it flattened, you might, especially for the veal, if it's a little bit tougher, you might need to use that more vicious side.
Okay.
But the chicken is quite tender as it is, and I'm just going to see what side I need. But yeah, don't be too mashy, bashy.
Okay.
Okay, now, so that's the hard work done. So,
Salt that?
Yeah, you salt that. And we're doing enough for a family of between 4 and 6 people.
Nice.
So this is also good as leftovers because it eats quite well the next day. So it can be part of a salad, or if you need to take it to work or something like that. Now, that is absolutely perfect. So we'll have a little quick break and
Now, can
drink
I ask you
with
a
that.
question?
Yes, of course.
Do you know what involtini translates to?
I don't. Do you?
I'm guessing stuffed.
Must be. We'll look it up though. We'll absolutely look it up. I should know. All right. So if you want to reload that salt, if you've run out, just reload with that. I'm also going to add a bit of lovely crushed peppercorns.
Beautiful.
I'd let you sniff that, but don't sniff too hard. If you want to season that, now I'm doing both sides. All right. And I suppose make sure you wash your fingers in between, which I will quickly do. All right. So, like I said, season your food. It shows you care. There's nothing more disappointing than when you're biting into something and they haven't bothered to season it. Now, I went to go get some basil out of my garden today, and I think something had eaten it, and my lovely neighbour Sally provided me with this.
Beautiful looking basil.
It is. It's
Sally,
huge.
thank
I think
you.
she's showing off a bit. She's got very green fingers. So if you want to put those three sort of, we're going to basically
separate the girls.
Separate them. Now we're going to pop those on there. So and if you don't have the basil, you could use a store-bought pesto. So like I said, this could be ricotta.
That would be delicious.
A nutmeg and some wilted spinach. So that's a nice traditional one. I've also got this beautiful flat leaf parsley. So let's put some of that green stuff in there. I'm just pulling it apart. Now, what we're going to do here is I've got the cheese here. This is that peppered pecorino. And you can see the little peppercorns there. This is a lovely, very salty cheese. So it's actually going to help season the inside here.
Can I get some of this over here?
Yes, absolutely. Now, when I'm using cheese, I'm just using this lovely big zester here. It's like a big grater. Of course, if it goes red, stop grating immediately. Okay, that's my advice. What we're going to do is I'm seasoning it with the cheese, and that is going to provide beautiful creaminess. I'll leave you that bit. But it's also going to, when we open this up, it's going to have that little bit of something special inside.
Delicious.
And that's why I'm using 2 cheeses. Now, I always am of the opinion that you should use as much cheese as you want.
Oh,
and
I
don't
agree.
let anyone
Wholeheartedly.
stop you. Don't let anyone stop you. Now, that's that lovely mozzarella. You could use a bocconcini. You could use the fiore di latte, which is what they use on the pizzas. Or you could even use a stinky blue cheese. Okay. So putting that in there, and literally as much as you like. This is not a measured recipe, but I do want, when they cut through there after this is baked, I do want them to get a little bit happy with me that I've actually
You've gone overboard with your flavourings.
Yes. Now, what we could do is we could wrap this up and then put it into flour, egg, and breadcrumbs. Now, I'm too lazy to ever bread anything. So I have chosen the easy way out. Now, what will add flavor is if we're going to use a beautiful streaky bacon, or if we use a prosciutto or parma ham or jamon. And as you can see here, straight from the deli.
Say that again.
The jamon. Yes, the jamon. I know. And here what we've got is beautiful thinly cut prosciutto. So you can actually decide on what you want to use. And now we can actually wrap this. So I'm just going to move this guy
so good.
aside. And it's going to add that lovely salty saltiness that we need. So just putting about 2 strips down, or maybe 3 strips because they're quite thin. And you can see it's nice and thin. That is going to cook very quickly. I'm just going to transplant this little chicken breast onto that.
Sure.
And then I'm rolling it up. So it's a nice tight little bundle. And look.
Delicious.
It's basically too easy.
Magnificent.
It is too easy, but the secret's in the sauce. Okay, we're going to build a sugo around this, and it is going to be fabulous, and our guests are going to go crazy. So we'll do a few of these, and then we'll get to the sauce in a second.
Lovely.
Excited?
I'm so excited.
Yay, I love a lazy dish. Beautiful.
All right,
so we'll do some with bacon.
Your instructions were fabulous. I'm just going to follow in.
Thank you. Now, what I've got is, I've got a nice dish. Now, I've actually done, in the past, I've done some in the individual little containers. That's better than mine.
If I can do it,
yes,
anyone can do it.
Yours is better than mine. So it depends on if you want to share with the family or if you want your own personal one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I always spray these baking trays of mine out because if you're doing the dishes later, this is a good way to make it easier to clean.
Love it.
So this is just a little El Cheapo canola or whatever spray that you have. And what we're going to do here is we're going to start.
Oh, we're having transportation issues.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about messy because it doesn't really matter. Once we've baked this, they're going to be absolutely gorgeous little parcels of happiness and flavor.
My mouth is watering.
Yes. Now, a quickie sugo sauce. Now, sugo sauce is a traditional Italian sauce, and I've got a machine for us today because if you are efficient in the kitchen, you would probably have a machine. Do you have a food processor?
Do, yeah. Yep, I do.
What you can see is here's something I made earlier. These breadcrumbs. So the kids left just a couple of slices of breadcrumbs in the packet. So I've done a bit of blended breadcrumb, and this is because later when we're serving this, if you want a nice sexy crumb, the pan grattato, which is a sexy, you can have a buttery breadcrumb, or we're going to use cheese and make them sexy. Yum. So that at this stage is not sexy. That's just breadcrumbs.
Sure.
But I don't like to waste food. No. I don't like to have leftovers. So if we weren't using it today, I would blend them up and have them in the freezer for a rainy day when I needed it. But
shall I use some of that for the next one?
If you want to try some with bacon, but I just have to open that. Sorry, it's not open.
Yep,
now for the sugo sauce, a traditional sugo sauce, you would do it in a beautiful saucepan or a pot on your stovetop. And you would start it off with garlic and onion. You would add your tomatoes, either fresh, or you can use the tinned or even the passata. You would season it, and then you would lower the temperature and let it cook down. We are going to build our sugo in here. So what I've got is I've got some onions, and these beautiful little pink onions were actually on sale. So I got those. So
nice.
If you're
Who doesn't love a sale?
Yes, we do love it. We do love a sale. So I just got whatever onions, so it can be whatever onions you have. Now, what we've also got is some lovely fresh garlic. And I prefer fresh garlic to a paste, a store-bought paste. Because I often find those have got preservatives in them. And we're literally just going to lean on there.
The flavour's better as well, isn't it, with fresh?
Yes. And
fresh is best.
Yeah, fresh is always best. And of course with the conscience. And if you smell, that's going to be wonderful. So I'm just leaning on it with my wrist there. And if you twist it.
Look at that.
Those are amazing. Now these take about 25 minutes to cook.
Okay.
And because of that lovely bacon or our pancetta, or like I said, you can use a parma ham or a jamon, whatever they have. it's going to moisturize our chicken for us, because chicken breast can be naughty in that it can be very dry sometimes.
Yes,
So we need
if you overcook it.
Yes, and we shouldn't overcook it. However, with that sauce, it is going to save us. So I've got the garlic and the onion in there. I'm going to add some of the beautiful fresh parsley.
Beautiful.
So that's from my garden. I needed to brag because
You are
I'm a
very
bit
clever.
intimidated by my neighbour's basil.
Oh, is it?
And I've got a sweet marjoram or an oregano or oregano.
There's a herb off happening.
There is definitely, and I'm going to have to start watering my garden a bit more, I think. And what we're going to do is,
Look at that.
yeah, I'm just creating a nice fresh sauce.
Okay.
So into the blender, and of course, if you had chopped tomatoes and they were like a whole tomato, this is an opportunity to blend them, but mine's already in a pulp. Okay. So
Nice.
I'm all for using tin tomatoes. Can I just say that? Can I put that out there? Because it makes us efficient. If you are buying tomatoes, however, you should not buy the beautiful little supermodel one that's all beautiful and, you know, looking very fresh. You want to buy the tomatoes that are old and wrinkly.
Yes.
Yeah,
much
because
more flavour.
they will have so much more flavour. And I'm putting a little bit of salt in there. You can put sugar in there to balance it out, but I'm not going to do that. The basil is going to be perfect. So if you have a smell of what's in there,
Yum.
we are going to blend that, and that is going to be our lovely
Beautiful.
base sauce.
Love it.
Excellent. Okay, so that is blended. We didn't have to do any work, but we will certainly take all the credit for it. You can steal the cheese that's left over. That's part of your payment for cooking. So I'm just going to pour that into the base of our dish. Then I've chosen a beautiful dish that can quite easily come to the table. Now, there's a little bit left in there. Just a bit of cold water. I'm sure you do this with your passata jug and anything. Get everything out of there, guys, because if you paid for it, then I believe, and this will reduce. So adding that little bit of water is not going to stress me out. Okay, so that is part one. What we're going to do is I'm going to bulk that up with a bit of my passata. And you can lie to your guests and tell them that you made your own. There's no ways they can prove it unless they...
Go searching through the rubbish bin.
Unless you made them help you with
Want me to
this.
put some water in that?
Yes, please. And then we'll shake it all about. I know I seasoned that first little bit, but just in case, I like to commit to the seasoning. Beautiful. Now we'll stir that through. If you just get us a little spoon. You don't probably have to. By the time it's all cooked, it will be. But the sugo is definitely going to benefit from a slow bake in the oven. So if you're not in a rush, this can be done at a lower temperature of about 160 for maybe 40 to 45 minutes. But if the family are in a hurry, have you ever had that? Where the family, they're just about to turn on you.
Singing for their dinner.
Then you can crank it right up to 220 or 230 because it can handle.
Okay.
It's got the bacon or whatever you've wrapped it in as the moisturizer. And all we need to do, because that chicken is so thin, is get the heat through to the middle.
Beautiful.
Okay, so let's load these guys in.
Sure.
Do you want to put your guys in there?
So you're staggering.
I'm staggering. Beautiful.
Look at that.
And
How
also,
amazing is that?
It's, you see, we're not stressed. We're still happy.
Gee whiz, I feel like a chef, Mel.
You look like a chef. See, that's what I want for you, is happiness. So we pop those in there. It looks gorgeous.
It looks amazing.
One or two more things that I recommend you do before it goes in the oven is, I know that we've got the sexy bacon, which has got a little bit of fat to it, but we're just going to use a nice extra virgin olive oil. Now, I always recommend that you sniff the oil before you use it, because...
There's a bit of rosemary in there.
Yes, this is actually a rosemary garlic one, but what I'm getting at is if you have olive oil that is 7 years old, that is not sexy anymore.
You mean it doesn't last that long?
No, it doesn't. So you should sniff and make sure that it's fresh.
Yes,
So,
look at that.
all right, so that's like moisturizer.
Beautiful.
Okay, or lip gloss.
Yes.
And then what we're going to do is we're also going to, I got these beautiful little cherry truss tomatoes. So we're going to put that over there.
Oh, look at that.
Because then we're really delivering on this amazing tomato promise that we have started on. All right, and also what I'll do is just season those, because we want them to be perfect for for when we plate it up.
Look at that. Little
Yeah.
stack there.
And if
Looks
you grow
so
cherry
pretty.
tomatoes, this is the perfect way to use them up because you know you can get, once you start harvesting them. I am going to season
Again,
just the
and
crust.
pepper as well?
Yes. And then that is ready to go in the oven. Now, like I said, hot and fast, 220 or 250 even, this can handle. Or if you have a little bit more time, 45 minutes at 160. So it's whatever you need on the night.
Nice.
So should we pop that in?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. So, as you can smell,
Delicious.
that smells amazing. Now that is the little one I made earlier. But now, the truth or the proof is in the eating. Okay. Now we could serve it like that, but with the lovely flavors we used, we had the beautiful cheeses, and you really enjoyed that pecorino. Is I could serve it like that, but because we got beautiful plates and everything, but I like to serve a little bit of bling. A little bit of something like, you know, when you put earrings on or wear a handbag, it just sort of dresses up the outfit. Let's dress up this chicken. So what I've done is, before you got here today, I toasted up some pine nuts. Now, pine nuts should be nice and fresh. So if you have pine nuts, and I keep mine in the freezer when I'm not using them. So if you sniff them, they're nice and fresh.
You get that aroma. It's beautiful.
Stale nuts are not sexy.
No, definitely not.
All right?
Stale nuts are no good for anybody.
No go. So what I've done is, just in that oven as it was preheating, I've just browned those up slightly.
Lovely.
Okay, so we're going to use some of those as a bling. So it's almost like a deconstructed pesto, which you could tell your guests that you've made them. I'm also going to take some of that. So if you think about a pesto,
Beautiful basil. Yes.
some of that beautiful basil, and I'm going to shred it up into a chiffonade cut of basil. That sounds expensive.
Oh my gosh. You have to pay extra for that.
I know. So chiffonade is just any flat leaf cut into a ribbon with either knife or scissors.
Nice.
You know that I'm a cooking school teacher, and I'll always try and teach you some big chefy words to use.
I love it.
And so, of course, we're going to put some of that lovely pecorino in.
Yes.
If you left us any. It was good, wasn't it? So this can be either served separately, or you could put it on for them. Okay, but it's just that little bit of a signature of freshness.
Beautiful.
It's a different texture as well. I always say, if you're serving everything soft, that's old age home food, and we are clearly not ready for that yet. No. So some of that lovely cheese in there. So if you
look at
do
that.
All right,
Okay,
so that is going to be our toasted nuts, the basil, the cheese, and of course, you could put the breadcrumbs, which I haven't toasted, but you could toast the breadcrumbs and pimp that up. So what I'll get is we'll get some plates, and I just wanted you to taste this.
So how would you toast your breadcrumbs? In a frying pan or in the
Just
oven?
in the oven. If the oven's on, I put them on that tray and I toast them. It's it's nice and easy. But of course, if you didn't have the oven on, you could just put them in a pan. So this here is...
Look at that.
And like I said, we've got the other one. It's in the oven. But I made this one for us. Now, everything is cooked together. So this is going to be just glorious. Now, a trick when you're dishing up, and you can see that beautiful, sexy sauce, is...
You transport a plate.
You see, you've listened. So when we're dishing up something sloppy, always get a little saucer, put it underneath. Oh, look how moist that is. And that looks absolutely great. Put a little plate underneath, and you don't have to spend the rest of your night cleaning the side of the plate.
Lovely.
That sauce has thickened up and is absolutely glorious. Now, of course, you could serve this on a pasta or even a zucchini that you've spiralized on the little machine. It can go on a polenta base, a baked polenta.
You're making me hungry.
Yes, well, I'm glad because this is for you.
Oh. Happy days.
Yes, so do you want to taste that and let us know? Can you see how that just will adorn it?
Oh my gosh.
It'll just finish it off.
Yes, there's my bling.
I hope you're feeling special that I made this just for you.
I'm feeling so special.
Okay.
How lucky am I?
There we go. Give it to me straight.
Okay.
Guys, please enjoy. Try this for your next dinner party, and I'm sure your family will also be impressed. Enjoy.
Yum.